Hi, I'm Yoam. Today I want to talk about productivity. Specifically, what does it mean to be a productive person, a productive manager? A few days ago, as I was helping one of my managers with some productivity challenges that we're having with a dev team, I realized that a really nice way to put it is this: consistency and predictability is the key to productivity. Let's break this down. Consistency means that no matter what system we use to manage and measure our productivity, we stick to it and we follow it. One of the biggest issues I see with leaders is that they are not consistent with whatever process they choose. They are 50% agile, 25% Kanban, 75% waterfall, and it simply doesn't work. If you're going to be agile, do agile. But do it all the way and be consistent about it. If you decided you have 2 week sprints, then make sure sprints are 2 weeks and not most of the time 2 weeks. The same goes to sprint planning, demos, Jira board, and anything else that has to do with the work process. People who work for you need to know what the expectations are and that they are consistent. Does it mean that you can never change the process? Of course not. You want your work process to be a living thing that grows and adapts. But there's a big difference from adapting a process when needed to literally never knowing what the process is going to be this month. Let's talk about predictability. Predictability means that everyone knows what they are working on right now and what they are going to be working on next. Too many managers and companies in general have little to no predictability. Even if they have a well-defined process that is consistent, it is consistently unpredictable. This is really bad since it makes working in such environments extremely stressful and requires you as an employee to context switch all the time. And context switching is the poison that kills productivity more than anything else. This is why it is so important that as a manager, you protect your team's members' focus time and make sure you provide as much predictability to their tasks as you can. Many people don't understand that when someone is deep into a task that they are expecting to finish in 2 days and you move them away from that task, it's not going to take them 2 days to finish it when they come back to it. It might take them 4 days. And you know why? Because just like a car's engine, it takes time to heat up, to rev up the engine once it's cold. And if I worked on something for a few days, I'm all in on it. I know exactly what I need to do. And you pull me out of it, I'm not going to be able to just go back into that flow state immediately. Great managers understand this and spend a big portion of their time generating predictability for their teams, even when there are storms outside. So, how do you make sure your teams have a consistent and predictable working environment? In my opinion, the key to achieving this is to start by fully understanding where and who you're working for. I know this might sound silly, but bear with me here since this is a really important lesson that I've learned the hard way. You can have the best intentions, the best experience, and the best process. However, if that does not coincide with the culture of the organization and your stakeholders, it really doesn't matter. You will not be able to provide consistency and predictability to your teams. I personally have experienced this in the past where, with all my best intentions, the executive team I was working with was simply set in their ways, and any attempts to reduce the chaos and introduce more focus were doomed to fail. But that's a more extreme situation. Most of the time, the issue is more subtle and has to do with personality traits of the organizations and the stakeholders. If you work for a startup that just raised seed money and you expect people to follow a rigid and clearly defined process like the one you used in a big corporation, I hate to tell you this, it's not gonna work. It doesn't make sense. At the same time, if you are trying to run a startup within a big organizations, you're going to get in trouble most of the time with people complaining that you are not following the process and that you are not a team player. This is why I have learned and taught managers always first understand where you're working for and who you are working for, because you have to set the expectations correctly. Organizations can handle it, but you have to understand who you're working for and what is the culture. If you're working for a founder that changes their mind every 5 minutes and they want to have things in production all the time, trust me, 2-week sprints is not going to work with them. The next thing is you have to build a process that has just the right amount of these two ingredients, the right size of working chunk, and you need to know how many tickets people should have in their backlog. People need to be able to answer at least 2 questions at any given time. What are you currently working on? And what are you going to be working on next? And the best way for them to be able to answer these simple questions is if they know the basic chunks of time when they are expected to deliver their current task and a short list of options of what their next task is going to be. And I personally like to define my team's working chunks based on production pushes. And that's because for me, it helps to clarify my point of view that you are not done until your code is in production. Anything before that to me means you are not completed with your task. Now, when it comes to the next tickets you are going to work on, I like to make sure that nobody has more than 3 to 4 tickets assigned to them at any given time. And yes, the backlog might be much longer, but that doesn't matter. You need to focus on 3 to 4 tickets assigned to you at any given time, no more. So, to sum it all up, be consistent, be predictable, and productivity will show up. I hope this helps. Don't forget to like, comment, and share to spread the word. See you next time. Bye.